This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
It's a wrong road. I go when the getting you wants. But the stronger, the farther on you go. Thought I knew you, but can't never say I know me. That sorry shadow I could turn out to be. Sometimes I cannot. Just can't understand where my head is at. Oh, what my heart is saying. All throughout the struggle, sometimes I feel I can't shake the habit. I just can't wake up. But I know in the end I'll be the chill. 'Cause the road will go on with me or without. Making no compromise. Fighting for a better life.
What's up, people? I'm Sonic the Hammons, and welcome back to Persona 4 Arena. I hope you guys are doing well. What we did yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday. Getting days mixed up already. But anyway, what we did yesterday was we finished up Naoto's story, which gave us everything that we needed for the investigation team. The investigation team is finished. As far as I know, maybe we have 2 more people to unlock. I'm not entirely sure, but I think they're done. Which means we get to go ahead and move on over to C's to see what C's has been up to. So let's go ahead and just start the story. Yeah, there we go. Gotta let all this go up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of them is going to be Labras. I don't know who the other one's going to be, but I'm excited to see that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and start with Misuru, the leader. Because she's cool. We like her. She was always rad back in the days of Persona 3. Oh, let me move this. Alright, late November in the year 2010. Okay. Ooh. We never got to see this in the game. No. Yeah, because it ends in like March 2010. Yeah, okay. The dankness fell without warning. At the same time, the previously busy examination room fell so silent that the man's ears shut. Oh, the man's ears hurt. What? They shut. They hurt.
Hey, what happened?
He called toward the back of the room, but no one came. No answer came. After working for public safety for over a decade, he thought little could face him anymore. But this was uncomfortably alien. It was no ordinary blackout. If it were, the faint light from the machines running on battery power, such as cell phones, would remain. But the silence disturbed him even more. He hadn't heard so much as a single cry. When he looked around, he saw one spot of the darkness where something was giving off an eerie glow, as if painted in incandescent pigments. Okay, yep, it's the Dark Hour. Wait, hold on, the Dark Hour is still a thing? Am I forgetting how that went wrong? Am I remembering that wrong? I thought once we took care of all that, the Dark Hour was no more. Because if it's November 2010, yeah, Persona 3 ended in March 2010. I thought we got rid of the Dark Hour. I thought we got rid of the Dark Hour. So it's back for some reason? Unless this is a dream, I don't know. Let's see. Once his eyes began to adjust to the darkness, he was faintly able to make out the area around that light. The shining spot was revealed as a small, strangely decorated box that the man had only just delivered to the forensics unit.
Forensics team! What the hell is...
Okay, kind of. He called out, still squinting at the shadow of a person he could see at the window before him. But as the shape resolved, he saw that it was not a person's shadow at all.
Huh?
He had no words to describe it. At first glance, it seemed to be a coffin. Indeed, that is what it was shaped like. But he had never seen a coffin standing upright, tall as an adult, shining like a dark crystal. Yet that was clearly what the crystalline mass was, squatting in the spot where a window clerk normally stood. And upon closer examination, it wasn't the only one. At desk, in front of the evidence shelf, next to a reference computer, the objects towered everywhere, as if they had taken the place of humans.
What are these?
A chill ran down the man's spine. Their people was the thought that instinctively came to mind. Was this the reason he couldn't hear anyone else's voice? Was it because everyone but him was?
What's going on?
I think I forgot to unmute something. I guess we'll find out. Once the fear had set in, it wasn't easy to shake off. His familiar office was starting to look like a grotesque netherworld. Actually, let me check. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. I'm fine. Anyway, he felt quite sure that he had to get out. Okay. Quickly, he turned and grabbed the knob to the door through which he had just entered. But...
What the?
Oh, you ain't getting out, son. It didn't budge. It wasn't that the door was locked, preventing the knob from turning the latch. The knob was completely frozen in place.
Is anyone here? Hey, let me out!
The man slammed his fist against the door, yelling in desperation. But the sensation he felt when his fist impacted the surface wasn't that of hitting a door. It felt completely at odds with what he saw, as if a picture of a door had been drawn onto a solid wall. That's weird. It was then that the man noticed that another light, similar in color to that emanating from the box, could be seen on part of his hand, and he swung it forward. As he swung it forward, it was a ring, and suddenly he remembered. When he brought in the small box, he found several bizarre ring-shaped objects within it. While handing it over to forensics, he suspected that they might be rings. To check the theory, he put one on. Oh, that's a bad idea. It may not come off now. And now that ring was emitting the same eerie light as the box. Though he still had no idea what was going on, it was immediately apparent that it was directly related to the current situation. The man grabbed the ring with sweat-sickle fingers and tugged, ready to pull off his own finger if necessary. But just at that moment...
I wouldn't take that off right now.
Ooh.
What?
The man can't help but gasp. He looked around, but could sense no one inside the room with him. Where had the voice come from?
I'll be there to rescue you shortly. Calm yourself and wait there.
When the man calmed himself, he realized that it wasn't a voice. The sensation was indescribable, but it was distinctly unlike hearing with one's ears.
Who's there?
Oh, pardon me. This is Mitsuru Kirijo. We met earlier.
Kirijo. He did know a Kirijo. It was she who brought the strange small box. And that wasn't all he knew. The Kirijos were a wicked family who used their fortune and influence as a shield, continuing to frustrate the police. Despite that, the man couldn't help but feel relief wash over him. Perhaps he might survive this after all.
Oh, well, I appreciate the help. Just hurry.
After getting the muttered words out, he sank to the floor, the door at his back. Mitsuru Kirijo, if he recalled correctly, she was the eldest daughter of the Kirijo group's founding family. He noted that her voice had been far calmer than his, despite the situation they were both in. He sensed a measure of trustworthiness from her. And to think it had been merely an hour ago that he was asking himself why such a young girl had been chosen as the head of the Kirijo group at all. Yeah, what a fool to question that. The digital clock on the corner of the desk quietly announced the arrival of 10 o'clock in the morning. Normally, most of the staff would be out and about by now, but the entire police department was in turmoil today. It was only to be expected with a key figure from the Kirijo group visiting on unusual business.
Kirijo, huh?
The Kirijo group was a major trading firm, synonymous with Japan. They had links to all areas of business. Not a day could go by in the city without hearing their name. The clock that had struck 10 before the logo of the Kirijo Electronics, and KJ was the carrier for the cell phone provided to every member of the force. A few days ago, this same Kirijo group had made a seemingly insane proposal. The document was hundreds of pages, but a brief summary would read, "We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters."
Well, it does happen from time to time. Famous businessmen end up advocating cultish nonsense in pursuit of their ambitions.
This is really at the time to time. For monsters, upon consideration, it was decided that the Kirijo group should be invited in to give their pitch. Of course, there was no intention of spending tax money on the outlandish proposal. The police's interest in humoring the Kirijo group lay elsewhere. The Kirijo group had offered an incentive whereby if the police agreed to the meeting, they would provide a detailed list of the ergonomics research lab's artifacts, as well as actual samples. It was this that drove the officials' decision, for there had been dark rumors bandied about the Kirijo group over the last 10 years. While still a family-run business, some said that old man Kotetsu Kirijo had delved into paranormal research and was performing inhumane experiments. The police collected enough evidence to test the rumor and had prepared many times to force an investigation. But every time the investigation came to nothing due to the group exerting hidden pressure, frustrating those working on... Oh, I missed that first comma. But every time the investigation came to nothing due to the group exerting hidden pressure, frustrating those working on the case to no end. Okay. The investigation's prime target was the infamous Ergo Research, the Kirijo Ergonomics Research Lab. Exposing the Kirijo group's dark side had been a dream of public safety for 10 years now. And now Kirijo seemed willing to hand over Ergo Research tightly guarded secrets on a silver platter. No one knew the reason for this sudden about-face, but neither did anyone think of turning them down. They agreed to submit, not to hear out whatever proposal Kirijo was offering, but as a stepping stone towards unearthing their past crimes. Time passed, and the agreed-upon time in the afternoon came. The man was tasked with watching over bringing in the artifacts from the Kirijo group. Though he would not speak with the guests, the police's plan afforded him a major responsibility that gave him something like a leading role. Something like that. It wasn't long before the Kirijo car arrived in the underground. Like the shop, like with all the automobiles and everything. Okay, Port Cocher. Is that what it is? Port Cocher? The staff there to receive the guests only shrugged at the long black limousine that would have turned heads on the main roads. One of the youngest recruits looked toward the man and asked a question.
Chief, what's with that car?
But that was the least of the surprises in store. When the Kirijo group representative stepped out of the limousine, she was shown to be a beautiful young woman, no older than a university student. Not only that, but she had attendants dressed in what could only be described as maid uniforms. All of them were young women roughly her age. The scene mesmerized the various dignitaries present to greet her.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am Mitsuru Kirijo, representing the Kirijo group. It's nice to meet you.
Her brisk greeting radiated poise. From there, she shook hands with the assembled dignitaries in a manner that showed she was no stranger to social gatherings.
She's the company rep? Really?
The young recruit, who was sneaking looks out of the corner of his eye, muttered in spite of himself.
Their proposal said the rep who's coming today would be the leader of this new unit, but I thought it was supposed to be some hardcore armed response team, and she's leading it? Well, I guess it's better than some meathead.
Shut up and hold your position.
But in truth, the man felt the same way. Certainly, this monster extermination unit would never be incorporated, but even if it were, he was sure this wisp of a girl could never do such work. Eventually, the dignitaries entered the agency, along with Miss Carrillo. All of them wore lopsided smiles due to the young beauty's unexpected appearance, but that would do for now. The dignitaries were only there to receive her. Their true objective was loaded in the truck parked behind the limousine. The documents and artifacts of Ergo research.
All right, start bringing them in.
Roger, sir.
At the man's signal, his trained subordinates surrounded the Carrillo truck. They formed a line, smoothly passing boxes from man to man into the building. The articles were of various size, with even a few that came in oversized metallic containers for aerial transport. The Carrillo group had warned them not to handle these things carelessly until explanation were forthcoming. But in truth, the department was already prepared to begin a forensic investigation of the objects or even send them to the lab.
Are you sure it's okay for us to open these? The instructions said not to.
It won't be a real investigation if we let them hamstring our procedures. Besides, I can't think of anything they could send us that we couldn't handle. Unless there's real monsters inside these things.
The articles were brought in silence. The operation only lasted about 15 minutes. The man himself received the last item, about the size of a jewelry box, and checked the truck to make sure nothing went overlooked before closing it up. That done, he turned and walked away towards the forensics room. That's a good little shot right over here. I guess. It looks boring. I'm probably not going to use... you know what? I don't think I'll use stuff like this. I'll still might get them just in case, but I don't think I'm going to be using backgrounds for thumbnails. I don't know. Try though he might to maintain his composure, he couldn't contain the excitement he felt. For 10 years, the darkness of the Carrillo group had been a frustrating legend, like mist between the department's fingers. Their chance to investigate and expose them was here at last. If even the slightest evidence matched the DNA of those who had gone missing or the victims of the unsolved cases, victory would be theirs. The man tried to tamp down his exhilaration and took another look at the small box he held. There was no upper lid on the box. A pedestal-like protrusion at its center held a number of small circular trinkets. Their usage was completely unknown. What kind of research produced these? Just as the man was about to hand the box to the window clerk, he saw a wedding ring the clerk's finger, maybe on the clerk's finger, and came to a realization.
Are these rings?
We're not sure yet.
The man put on some protective latex gloves and tried one of the objects on. After looking at it from every single angle, its colors and shapes seemed to be nothing but ordinary. If it was meant to be jewelry, it wasn't very attractive. The man couldn't picture scientists in lab coats slaving away in a lab to create rings like this. The moment that unlikely possibility came to mind, the man felt somewhat embarrassed by his ignorance of fashion and accessories. But as soon as he reached for the small box to put the ring back inside, dankness suddenly fell.
Please step away from the door.
The voice echoing the man's mind brought him back to reality. He took a few steps away from the door as directed and stood ready. Step away from the door. The more he thought about it, the stranger the order seemed. How did she know he was so close to the door when she wasn't even in the room? Suddenly, a chill filled the area. In mere seconds, the entire door was coated in white.
Where'd this ice come from?
The power of Bufu. It had frosted over. That's Akihiko's weakness. The man couldn't believe his eyes, but the evidence was there in front of him. He could then hear a slight shocking sound, followed by a crack forming in the center. Yeah. The door busted under its own weight and crumbled with a sound that was like building blocks being pushed over. Lego blocks. Standing just past it was the Carrillo woman. The Carrillo woman. What? She walked over to the man with exquisite nonchalance. At her side was one of the maids she brought.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
We did give you fair warning, but it seems to have gone unheeded.
Yeah, good job, idiot. The man looked towards the ring shining on his finger.
Then this happened because we touched that box? What is this thing?
That ring gives its bearer an unstable form of pseudo-potential and allows anyone to experience the Dark Hour.
The Dark Hour?
The box itself seems to be a failed recreation of the Dark Hour. The effect radius is small, and it malfunctions when improperly handled.
The Dark Hour. He remembered that phrase coming up in the documents the Corrijo group had sent. If he recalled correctly, it was defined as a hidden time, unable to be experienced by normal people, where everything stood still. According to the documents, it seems to have occurred every night at midnight for about 10 years until spring 2011, as if forcing its way into normal time. Okay, so this still went on. Okay, goodness gracious. But it stopped at spring of 2011. Yeah, it stopped right before. Oh my gosh, it stopped right before they started having to deal with the Midnight Channel. Like, oh my gosh, imagine. That's just been on my mind. I tweeted about it, but this has just been on my mind. Like, imagine coming back home from the Dark Hour, then you immediately have to deal with the Midnight Channel. Like, you get no breaks. You're just tired. Oh, that's ridiculous. Imagine being tired from the Dark Hour. Oh, God. Whew, boy. Until now, it seemed like pure fantasy. But could this silent darkness be the very same thing?
So you're saying those stories in that document, that occult-sounding stuff was actually for real?
For real? At that moment, a voice suddenly echoed from beyond the hallway, past the broken door.
Who's there?
The man reflexively called out in alarm, realizing that the fear had not yet died down. What emerged from the darkness was the younger crew who had greeted the guests earlier and had been helping with bringing in the artifacts. The young man was staggering as if severely drunk.
Chief! Hey, are you alright?
The man began to rush to his side, but the Corrijo woman silently stopped. She stood between the two, as if protecting the man.
What? He's my...
Before he could finish, he's going to turn into a shadow. Before he could finish, a surprising change overtook the recruit. The recruit fell to the ground with an agonized scream. A black tar-like substance began flowing from his every orifice.
What?
The ooze spread unnaturally across the ground and cohered into a glob. It rose up like a beast raising its head, and what looked like claws began to form. Its appearance showed clear signs that it possessed some malevolent will. Yeah, malevolent will. The man... Jesus. The man thought... using that as I'm not using that as a thumbnail. That'd be funny, though. The man thought again about the Corrijo group's initial proposal. We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters. Without a doubt, this was what they referred to. That name came up again and again was...
This is a shadow.
That it is. It's a monster that dwells in every person's heart.
So you actually did read the documents. Good job.
They usually can't manifest themselves this way, but it's quite common to see it happen during the Dark Hour.
So the research to make this happen artificially, that's what Kirijo has been experimenting with.
That did seem to be the extent of it. At the start.
At the start. The man couldn't prevent himself from shuddering to imagine the implications of her statement. It looks even worse now. With the second roar, the half-liquefied shadow suddenly took the form of some fell beast. But where the face should have been was nothing but a mask, giving it the bizarre appearance of two creatures stitched together. The young woman, for her part, seemed none the least perturbed.
Kikuno, my things, please.
This is not her first rodeo. The maid stooped to reach something. It's an evoker. The man wasn't sure where she had been carrying it, but she placed the sword in her master's hand. That's right. She uses sword. I forgot. And she used the sword in her master's hand. The blade was especially shaped, similar in design to a fencing saber.
You're going to fight it?
Stay back. This will all be over soon.
That moment, as if understanding their conversation, the shadow squared itself and leapt towards the young woman. Its speed matched its beauty appearance. Beastly appearance, beauty appearance, goodness. What's going on, Amaterasu? It's good to see you. How are you? Right now, this is taking place in November 2010. So, yeah. I didn't realize that the Dark Hour was still a thing at that point. I thought it ended, but I was wrong. Supposedly, it ended like the spring of 2011, what they were saying earlier. So, yeah, right before we had to deal with the Midnight Channel. In the darkness of the room, the man found it difficult simply keeping his eyes on it. The young woman did not move. Her sword remained lower in the face of the shadow's advance. Of course, thought the man, an amateur like her could never react in time. However,
Artemisia!
at a word from the young woman, some unseen force slammed the shadow against the wall. The man momentarily doubted his own eyes. For it hadn't been the woman who repelled the monster, but a silhouette that suddenly appeared behind her. It looked as though the being enveloped a sublime light. Contrasting the shadow's dark glow was a woman wearing a majestic dress. Its silhouette held up a hand towards the crouching shadow. Once again, the man felt freezing air fill the room. The power of Bufu! And with that, the shadow stopped moving. Frost crystallized all over it, turning it into an ice sculpture within seconds. Only then did the young woman swing the sword in her hand for the first time.
Ha!
A white gleam arced through the air. Upon impact, the frozen enemy shattered like it had been crystallized sugar rather than ice. The victory was so one-sided that the man hesitated to call it a battle.
Are you all right?
The young woman turned toward the man. The sound of her boots hitting the floor gave him the jarring realization that she hadn't moved a single step during the fray. Seeing that he was at a loss for words, she gave him a gentle smile. It was all too much for the man. He actually felt relieved to be protected by this small woman. One thing was obvious. She had been through countless battles much like the ones he'd just witnessed.
Your fallen employee's life is in no danger, but he'll be very weak. Make sure he gets to a hospital. Should I make the arrangements?
Huh, because that's her persona, man.
No, I should at least handle that. It is a public security matter.
Yeah, do something, man. With a nod, the young woman approached the small box and manipulated it in a way he couldn't quite catch. The eerie yellow-green light began to fade. Moments later, the silence and darkness faded. The world had been restored. It had been an hour already? Okay. The man felt his body become suddenly lighter, causing him to breathe with a sigh of relief. He hadn't realized until the pressure was gone that the air had been as suffocating as if he had been underwater. There was a stir of movement in the room. The forensics team and assistants looked at the man and young woman perplexed. The man took a quick look around. Fragments of the shattered door were strewn about. A young public security worker was lying unconscious nearby. And the Kirijo guest, who had entered without anyone noticing, held in her hand a drawn sword.
I'd be shocked too if I were them.
It occurred to him that if normal people couldn't sense the dark hour, the sudden change of circumstances may have seemed to them like some magic trick.
Excuse me, but this place is off limits to all unauthorized personnel. Hey, what's going on here?
The forensic staff looked at the man helplessly.
It's all right. We had a little emergency.
Oh.
That aside, halt all examination of the relics they brought in. We'll wait for further instructions from the Kirijo group.
There you go, you learned your lesson.
Huh? But you said...
If there are any boxes that are closed, don't force them open. Not if you don't want to come face to face with monsters.
Leaving the frowning forensics team behind him, the man quickly went into the hallway with the Kirijo woman.
I have to thank you for your help. And about the conference, I'll join in as well. It's been arranged so nothing you say would get through to the higher-ups.
If the young woman was surprised at what amounted to a confession of betrayal, she didn't show it.
Are you saying you will reconsider your plans?
I can't overlook anything as serious as this. I wouldn't be doing my job as public security if I did. But make no mistake, the things I saw today are proof of the sins the Kirijo group has committed. They can't be punished under the law, but now that they're known, atonement will be made in some shape or form.
Indeed. I never intended anything less.
You really put one over on us this time. Oh, there's no need to be coy. What happened today was no accident, was it? We'd never have believed the reports unless we saw it in person. That's why such a dangerous box had no lid. Am I wrong?
There was no lid. That's not possible. That box was classified as risk level 3. It should have been securely fastened.
The young woman fell silent, then gasped and gave the maid walking silently beside her a look.
Kikuno.
The maid continued without the slightest sign of remorse and left her master behind. Both the man and the young woman sighed at once.
Us guys in public security have a reputation for being tough. But it seems like you guys are no slouches yourselves.
Okay, the summit that was meant to be a perfunctory refusal took an unexpected turn. Promises were made to continue the talks. 6 months passed. After many opportunities to show the actual samples to the dignitaries were set up, the proposed special unit was established in mostly the form Kirijo requested. The Security Department Shadow Response Unit. It was the inauguration of a special unit that would in time be nicknamed the Shadow Operatives. Okay. Well then. That's a lot to think about. I mean, now we know how that came to be. Oh, yes. Alright, indeed, the Shadow Operatives. I'm quite fond of the name. Not that I normally pay much heed to these things, but in this case, I admit to being pleased. It started as sarcasm on the part of the higher ranked personnel from the police. It can be taken to mean those who deal with shadows, but the real meaning is those who operate in the shadows. Not only is the unit unofficial, we have the difficult to credit job of exterminating monsters. Mostly, I suspect it was a dig at a group that disturbed the expected peaceful years before the older personnel retirement. But Shadow Operative could also mean one who does an indispensable, albeit unrewarded job for society. It's a name truly befitting of this organization's goals. We're approaching the first anniversary of the Shadow Operatives establishment. Though we're still at the level of basic investigation and laying groundwork, it seems a full-scale case has arisen.
It's not our first option, but I'd be more reassured with you there.
I love it.
We have a general idea of where it was taken, the Inaba area, where there were reports of suspected shadow activity last year.
It's good to hear from an old... Damn. I'll put you in a trance. From an old reliable friend. I limit to call to an quick exchange of information. Yeah.
I'll send you the precise location.
Fuel the fire with the burning desire, yeah.
Returned from a trip, but I'm relying on your assistance.
Who is it? Come on, girl, let me rock your world. I close my cell and turn towards my colleague.
He's only just returned and he's going directly to the location from the airport. Akihiko never changes.
Good old Akihiko. The man I was on the phone with just now was Akihiko Sanada. He's one of our non-permanent staff. Akihiko is an excellent Persona user, but beyond that, he's a skilled boxer. He's a friend of mine from high school who fought the shadows alongside me. I admire his strict determination to never neglect his training, but the extreme lengths he goes to could be rather inconvenient. After entering college, he accepted my invitation to be one of the founding shadow operatives, but it was his actions afterward that went above and beyond. Sure, I'll join. But if I'm going to use my strength professionally, I want to get my skills to a level I'm happy with first. Thus began his training expedition. He's not only wandering the country, he's traveling the entire world. Where's he been? I can't decide whether to be dumbfounded or impressed by his dedication to training. All of this is to say that he only just returned to Japan to take part in this operation. I give a wry smile and lean back in my chair. Seeing me relax, the girl watching nearby smiles. This is Aigis, known for her blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. She's a sweet girl on the outside, but she has what it takes to be an important member of our squad.
Will we be able to find Labris?
In her,
My sister.
in her little outfit, you see, look, they gave her some clothes. When I look over at Aigis, her eyes are cast downward with a worried expression.
Will we be able to save her? Isn't that what you really want to ask?
She must have known once I call Akihiko in his backup. Make sure you don't hurt nobody. There's a possibility that we will have to fight Labris, knowing that it's not a great leap to imagine that the worst case scenario she may have to be destroyed. And it's true, alas. If all else fails and our safety is at risk, with no other way to stop her, that option is on the table. Still.
Don't worry. As I mentioned to Akihiko, fighting Labris is not our priority. The reason I formed this shadow operative team is to save lives. We will find her, whatever it takes, and bring her back. We can do this.
Yes. I'm sorry to be so pessimistic.
Those feelings you have for Labris, you should tell her when you see her.
I will.
That's mine. Aw. The monitor is showing certain data that is under multiple redundant encryptions. Kirijo Ergonomics Research Lab, confidential matters. There is, in fact, a reason I'm reviewing these materials that are normally securely concealed. Feel the fire with the burning desire. For 2 days ago, on May 1st, I was unexpectedly dragged into a serious incident. Okay. Passenger plane I was taking to Kagoshima was hijacked. Where there hasn't been a domestic hijacker for 10 years. The top brass of the police, afraid to make any mistakes, sent in the shadow operatives. The case itself was resolved quickly, and all the culprits arrested. None of the passengers were harmed either. But the hijackers' true motive wasn't terrorism or political demands, as one would expect. I was surprised to find they were really after my cargo. It was a sealed box from the Ergonomics Research Lab that we were transporting to Yakushima on that flight. No one thought that the risky hijacking could have been in pursuit of just the cargo, and as a result, one of the objects was stolen. The arrested suspects are all in police custody, but none of them have any memory of carrying out the crime. Oh, it's super dark anyway. Someone was pulling their strings, very probably using uncommon methods. Considering that the puppet master was targeting shadow-related cargo, I doubt they'll be easy to deal with. As for what was stolen, Aigis mentioned his name a moment ago. The 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labris, is an older model from 2 generations ago. Since shadow-related ergo research documents were lost in an accident, we know little about Labris. She's an android, most likely a female version, just like Aigis. But instead of weapons loadout, she seems to have been fitted with some kind of experimental equipment. That's all we know. Still, thanks to our collaborator's quick wit, the escaping vehicle was traced with the N system. It wasn't easy, but we managed to pinpoint its location. It was headed for the city of Inaba, where there may have been shadow activity last year. Once the preparations to depart are complete, I'll head there myself. My mind wanders a bit. Though I was unaware of them, the shadow of the sins committed in the Kirijo name is still so painful, 10 years on, that I sometimes want to avert my eyes. But now is not the time to be bound by the past. Now is the time to act. I suddenly notice that Aigis has been staring at me worriedly. I give her a smile and stand up decisively. I love that you bring back all the Persona 3 music. It makes me happy. We're pulling up to Yasa Inaba, the central town of Inaba. Though it's a central town, the main streets seem nearly deserted, and there's virtually no activity to be seen through the car windows. It was confirmed that the vehicle transporting Labrys was abandoned here. Our first move would be to confirm the situation. Or so I thought. I attempt to ignore the rude stares of the people trying to get a look inside the car. Focus instead on the scent of my tea. People keep crowding around when we park. We've had to move it a number of times already. We didn't get a moment's peace until the car had reached the junkyard on the outskirts of town. As I try to keep from sighing, Aiga speaks up from her seat in front of me.
Mitsuru-san, our activities are supposed to be undercover, correct?
Yes.
For undercover missions, it will be necessary to keep all personnel and vehicles from being noticed.
Right.
Mitsuru-san,
Thanks, Aiga.
may I say something that I've been meaning to say for a while now?
No.
Understood.
Oh man, you gotta love Aiga's. Aiga's poker face is a perfect blank. No, I understand what she's saying. I don't understand what she's getting at. I've actually wanted to say something along those lines to those around me for a while. Still, it would be galling to hear it from someone else just now.
All I told them was to give us a car with enough space.
Our contact has arrived.
The man approaching us is someone whose corporation I specifically request. Well, there we go. That's why, because Naoto was wondering why we picked this limousine of all things. Just like we didn't pick it, they just gave this to her. His name is Detective Kurosawa. Aw, yeah. Before I can welcome him, Aiga speaks up.
Oh my, this was not our designated meeting area, yet he has discovered us.
You want to know how I did it?
Da 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 da. Never felt like da 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 da. Oh man, be with me. Da 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 da. Oh my god, I'm digging this so much. Hey, what's going on, Rabbit? You just missed Aiga's being Aiga's. It was pretty funny. And they're playing all the Persona 3 music. We just had to deal with the Dank Hour again. That was wild. You want to know how he said this? Lately, it feels that whenever Aiga wants to voice her opinion to me, she intentionally puts on the robotic act. They mentioned this at the lab. That if Aiga still speaks in that stiff, formal manner, either she's getting too human and is developing habits, or she's doing it on purpose. Honestly.
We appreciate your cooperation, Detective Kurosawa.
Long time no see, miss. And I guess, was it?
Indeed. It has been a while.
Detective Kurosawa was an officer at a police box near the school we attended 3 years ago. He was shunned for cooperating with us and busted back down to officer. But now that the shadow operatives are officially recognized, he's in their good graces again. Funny how that works. A man who could be trusted beyond the confines of his station to solve a case, even going so far as to bend the rules. He's a rare breed. Detective Kurosawa's expression has softened while he makes small talk with Aiga, which makes me realize that this may be the first time he's seen Aiga in her combat uniform. Oh, you know what? It may actually be.
I shouldn't make you stand while we talk. Please, get in.
Sorry. I haven't seen you in a while, so I had a lot to say.
But yeah, basically Aiga was just like, Mitsuru, why are we in a limousine? Like, this is stupid. We're supposed to be hidden. He must understand that we are trying to go incognito. Though it's kind of him to point out that our vehicle and attire are completely unsuited to that goal as he enters the limousine. He sits and does not even wait until the doors close before getting to the point. I'm like, dang boy, you want the whole world to hear?
I found out quite a bit regarding the case you had me look into. First, I reviewed the report on the incidents from last year. One of the suspects mentioned the word persona.
So what went on here last year?
It's probably related, but I wasn't done there. Parts of this guy's testimony were even more outlandish. If you can take what's in the record at face value, it seems Persona users can enter TVs within the Inaba region.
Enter TVs? What does that mean?
What do you think it means, I guess?
Just what it sounds like. You physically stick your body into the screen and go inside. He claimed there was another world in a TV, and dropping people inside it was the method behind last year's murders.
This all sounds rather absurd. I'm surprised it was included in the police report.
I got in touch with the detective in charge at the time and said the same thing.
Uncle Doji!
Apparently the report was filed by a young partner of his at the time. He'd entertained the wildest testimonies like this one.
He sounds like quite the oddball.
You see her with this nonsense. I know you're not calling anybody an oddball.
If this was what really went on, the police would have had no chance cracking it. But that Detective Dojima is one shrewd guy. Even with all the supernatural hocus-pocus surrounding the case, he caught the culprit.
He had a little help. What I asked of him was to collect information about the serial murders that occurred in Inaba last year. The shadow operatives aren't public knowledge, so I thought the local police would be more willing to speak with him, but the results surpassed my expectations. Though it was slightly frustrating to already run up against something I'm powerless to achieve myself.
That's all I have for you right now. I should be going. I doubt either of us has time to reminisce over the old days. It's funny though. I thought the fighting was over, but you guys surprise me every time I see you.
Thank you very much, Officer Kurosawa. Why don't we at least see you off?
Oh, that's all right. I've got my own car. I doubt my department would appreciate your tastes.
God.
If I ever showed up for work in something like this, I'd be the talk of the force until the day I retired.
Detective Kurosawa jokes with us before exiting the limousine, waving casually back at us. I had nothing to say to that as I watched him leave, rotating his shoulders to work out some kinks. Because he's old. I guess, though, felt the need to comment. I love also just like, from Monsieur's perspective, she's like, and freaking Igus is saying, and freaking Igus is getting smart with me.
Mitsuru-san, this could be bad. Our sense of social aptitude is in question.
Can't deny that.
What should we do now?
Yes. First, we'll need to test the claim that Persona users can enter TVs.
We are at a junkyard after all, and I can see a number of consumer electronics that have been discarded illegally. Igus looks around and points at a certain pile as she gets out of the car.
There is a discarded TV over there. If the environment does not matter, we can use it to test the phenomenon.
Wait, Igus.
Don't worry. I'm just going to touch it.
That's not what I was worried about. Igus isn't wearing anything like a disguise, and no, I'm overthinking this. We've already attracted enough attention. Even if we leave now without doing anything, our pictures could still end up on the internet. Let them gossip about the strange people in funny clothes. It'll become some urban legend. My mind made up. I step outside, wearing my special equipment. Once Igus sees that I follow her, she gives a small nod and stretches her hand out toward the screen.
Amazing!
Her hand is inside the TV screen. The music! But the screen itself seems undamaged. Igus's hand is swallowed up to her waist, as if she is swallowed to her waist. Oh, to her wrist. Waist. Okay, I was confused. How was your hand swallowed to your waist? Because I can't read. Igus's hand swallowed up to her wrist, as if she's put it into a bucket of water.
Interesting. It's exactly as the police report said. What's it like inside? Do you feel anything?
Not particularly. No. Wait a moment. It's the same as mine. It's hard to say definitively since this is my first encounter with it, but I believe this reading is from a personality module.
Does that mean our retrieval target is inside the TV?
Huh. Sounds like fun.
Man. That voice from above. It sounds very familiar. But all I see in the direction from where it came is a man in an outlandish red cape. Even they're talking about his cape. I hesitate for a moment. Could it be?
Is that Akihiko?
The man leaps from the stacked tower of TVs like an acrobat.
You didn't show up at the rendezvous point, so I went looking and found you here. This whole TV thing is pretty interesting.
In spite of myself, I bury my face in my palm.
Akihiko, what on earth are you wearing? Just what were you doing overseas?
Didn't I tell you that I was on a training expedition?
Don't tell me you came here from the airport like that. Does the concept of keeping a low profile mean nothing to you?
The concept of keeping a low profile means nothing to anyone but you, Mitsuru.
Mitsuru-san, I believe we have lost the right to complain about
We just
that.
came in with a freaking limousine. Oh man. That's it. I'm never mentioning the subject of our appearance again.
Anyway, we can go inside from that TV, right? What are we waiting for?
Still the same Akihiko. We don't know the situation inside yet, and we'll need a secure means of getting out.
So what? If we want to get this Labrys back, someone has to go inside, right?
Well, that's...
Our target hijacked a plane to throw her into a TV in this town. If we sit on our hands, it's possible we'll be put in serious danger.
Akihiko's right. That's exactly why we've been trying to act as quickly as possible since the case began.
We're different from how we used to be. We made the choice to fight shadows as professionals. That's why I traveled around the world and trained harder than ever. Now that something's actually come up, you're hesitating? We agreed to do this. I'm ready to stake my life on the mission.
They're throwing shade on them. They're just throwing shade at each other. Recklessly unafraid. I'm like, they sound like some vets, and it's great. Recklessly unafraid to state his honest opinion. Classic Akihiko. He must understand. He must understand that is his role. Certainly, there are times when I need such opinions, and it's been a while since he went abroad. I think I can understand his current mindset.
All right. Wait right here. I need to go make a phone call first.
Okay, make it quick.
He doesn't have to tell me twice. I take out my phone and bring up the contact list. A world inside a TV. I don't know what it might be like in there, but I do know someone that can help us. I was originally going to ask for their help after Labrys was secure, but perhaps the time has come. Who we calling? Now I've taken all possible precautions. The rest is a test of our resolve. She called the dog. She called Koromaru.
The other members will wait here in the car.
And Naoto's there somewhere.
If we all
Hiding.
barge in and something happens, we'll be devastated.
Now that you mention it, at least one of us should be staying behind as well.
I am not staying.
Us three will be plenty. We'll end this in a flash. No problem.
We picked a
Same
good
as
order to
always.
play all these stories in.
Although,
Because you
we
understand
have
why
no
Igus is
idea what
like,
might be
no, I'm
waiting for
going.
us on the other side. Don't get careless.
Right.
This situation, it brings back memories.
What's going on here? Hey, Toker, what's going on? Toker 2005. It's good to see him.
Ready!
Now she gotta get her sister, man. She's ready to rock. Alright, let's see who we fight first as Mitsuru. Oh, we might fight... Will we fight Naoto first? I don't know. I have no idea. I hope we at least fight Naoto once. Yeah.
Why enter the TV? What's going on?
Can you imagine, like, not doing Naoto's story first? You're doing great? Awesome. It's good to see you. We've finished all. I think we finished all the stories for everyone on the investigation team. So now we're hanging out with the Persona 3 peeps, and they're just playing all Persona 3 music, and it's bringing back memories. And I loved it, and I missed it. It was good. That pan, wow.
Where am I?
And also, so we don't even know what's going on with everybody else yet. So up to this point, maybe we'll see the others. Maybe she called them, but we only have these three. We don't know where Junpei is. Yukari, Fuka, Ken, Koromaru. Well, Yukari might be working because we learned in Persona 5 Royal from watching the TVs that she's the Pink Ranger and Featherbed R. So that's really cool. So maybe she's doing that.
Is this inside the TV?
Did she say she wanted to become an actress, or is this something she just decided later? I don't even know. I remember being enveloped in a white light, but what came afterwards is unclear. Is this the world inside the TV? Oddly enough, the sight before me seems to be the main gate of a school. The name engraved on the entrance plate is...
Yasagami High School. I do recall that name from our map of Inaba. An existing high school has been completely recreated inside the TV?
Okay, that's tripping me up. Like, we're in the TV world, but they're playing Tartarus music. I then came to a realization. It's the ultimate crossover. I've encountered something much like this before. It doesn't appear to be much different from reality as far as appearances, but it has the same distinctive sticky atmosphere. The Labyrinth Tartarus, that was our battleground 3 years ago. It bears a lot of similarity to this place.
Wait, where are the others? Akihiko! I guess.
Being separated won't do anything to further our mission. Perhaps I can use my communication power to get in touch with them. They're gonna watch it now?
I can't reach them through my persona either.
Well, poop.
This place is highly unusual.
It's still barely functioning, but the noise here is severe. I'll need to understand this world a little better and find a quiet place to concentrate. As I check my surroundings again for any enemies, I hear the sound of footsteps. I tense, making myself ready for anything. But when I turn around, a uniformed girl stops, looking at me in bewilderment.
Huh?
Yukiko! Okay, well, I guess we're fighting Yukiko first. Okay, whatever. I didn't expect to meet someone else here, let alone a seemingly ordinary schoolgirl like this. Could her agent outfit be a connection to the theft of Labyrinth? But after the girl's surprise faded, she still seemed confused by my appearance. It seems that even here in another dimension, people are startled by my attire. At least her reaction allayed my suspicions. People reveal something of themselves when they're caught off guard. Anyone in the act of committing a crime couldn't fake being perplexed so naturally.
Did I surprise you? I suppose my outfit is somewhat unusual.
Oh, no.
Why are you here?
Well,
You should just decided it like later. Well, yeah, but I mean, did she decide that during the events of Persona 3, or did she decide this like sometime after the game ended? Or maybe we'll learn later. Who knows? Maybe they'll tell us. A loud cheer suddenly swells, cutting off our conversation. There's definitely a crowd present here. I look around the area in confusion.
What? Where is that coming from?
Students appear one after another, clearly intrigued to see us here.
What's going on?
Before I can react, an image appears on the monitor, buried beneath the bizarre decorations.
Hello! Hello! This is General Teddy, your benevolent dictator!
And I, Rosette, am your commentator. It's time for the next round in the P1 Grand Prix.
Misuru doesn't know any of these people.
Are you ready to fight?
P1 Grand Prix. Fight.
Suddenly, on the one of the ridiculous costumes queue, smoke pours out around us. spotlight shines from somewhere directly upon me. I instinctively raise my arm to shield my eyes from the harsh light. It feels like I'm being displayed for an audience.
And who do we have for Yuki-chan's opponent this time? Ooh, it's a mysterious, beautiful lady. How unexpected!
Wait.
Teddy? What's wrong?
Do you know that bear?
The monitor showing the one in costume calling himself General Teddy suddenly fuzzes over with static. The static gets worse and worse until an eerily expressionless bear costume that looks as though it forgot how to make facial expressions appears on screen. The voice is the same as before, but his tone is harsh and mechanical now.
Case 04, unintended intruder.
Ooh.
Entering elimination process.
Ooh, okay. This is different.
What is that supposed to mean? Ugh, what's going on?
As soon as the abnormality registers, I feel a bizarre noise that is like something scratching against my whole body. Ooh, oh, I know that feeling. Yeah, that's weird. Was that some kind of an attack? It didn't seem to have any effect on me, but the girl standing beside me underwent quite a change.
You. Who do you think you are, showing up alone like this? It's no use trying to talk your way out of it. There's nothing to discuss. You don't even try to understand anyone anyway. If you want to wall yourself off from everyone, I'll be happy to end your lonely life here.
The girl's face distorts with hatred as she spits her words at me. It's a far cry from her earlier demeanor. It's as if she's a completely different person. Yo, she lucked out. She was able to see this change beforehand. Oh, that'll help her. That could easily help her figure out the whole situation faster. And that's not all. Understandably, she seemed not to know me before, but now she speaks as if she does. What is this? Could it be the effect of the noise I sensed?
You won't be so smug for long. Come, Konohana Sakuya.
A persona?
The girl spreads the fan in her hand, and with a flash of light, a persona manifests. How careless of me. I should have accounted for this possibility as soon as I saw her here in this world.
We won't be settling this peacefully, I see. In which case...
I ready my evoker and concentrate.
To me, Artemisia.
The power rises from within me, and the sensation of my limbs tells me that my persona has emerged. But my hand holding the evoker is still at my side. My persona. Did it just appear without the use of my evoker to trigger it? Did I summon it only by thinking? Theoretically, one doesn't need an evoker to summon one's persona. Yeah, it's like, why do you guys need them? I didn't have one the day my persona first manifested, and I've done without one several other times as well. But never before have I summoned it so easily without any special concentration. It's as if my consciousness is reaching far beyond the boundaries of my body. By way of analogy, it feels like being able to control the wind with my fingertips. Could it be because this world is special? The girl's voice brings me back to the situation at hand. Which reminds me, the girl doesn't seem to use any special implements to summon either.
Persona user. Fine. I still won't lose.
Sorry, but I won't be defeated either.
Here we go. First fight. Mitsuru's about to beat up a kid. It's funny, they're only 3 years apart, though. They easily could have gone to high school together.
Final.
Ooh. She just kicked him. She said. We'll see that again. Wait! Don't burn my dread! Did you see that? She said, pow! That's wild! She just kicks you right in the stomach. What was that, Mitsuru? That's how she executes you. Once the battle ends, the monitor nearby switches on.
An irregularity has occurred. Multiple intruders detected. Emergency. Intruders are persona users. Due to difficulties in elimination, they will be acknowledged as valid targets.
Oh, good. He obviously refers to myself and the others. Does he mean that he's going to adjust his tactics for dealing with us to our various strengths? The way he said that seems like a bad omen.
Valid targets.
I understand that we're considered to be intruders, but what did he mean by that? It seems we're part of the tournament now, but what was the enemy's original plan? The monitor screen fuzzes again. Once more, it shows the costume person as he originally appeared. You heard me, Mitsuru, and yeah, she doesn't. Now she don't play around. You heard me, Mitsuru and Naoto are some of the strongest. Oh, really? Wow. Wow.
Geez, you need to let me know if you want to get in on the fun.
Thing is, Naoto does have a gun, and Mitsuru was just freaking Mitsuru.
But this is a unique situation.
The execution,
and you're
though.
one hot mama, so I'll make an exception.
That's pretty cool, though. I would love to look at a tier list for this, like, after I've completed the story mode for Arena and Arena Ultimax. I would love to go back and, like, look at a tier list.
Just keep putting out a good show in your next bout, too.
Who are you? Why don't you take off that strange costume and show your face?
No, she doesn't know.
Hey now, I don't think a lady walking around in a cat suit like yours can talk to me about my bear suit. Enough with the questions. Move on.
Again? Yet another person hung up on my outfit. Look, it's unlike me to let the enemy's words get under my skin. The monitor switches off with those cheeky words.
Is that costume thing the one who stole Labrys? If so, then what's the purpose of this bizarre tournament?
That costume thing.
Fine. I'll get a read on your location.
I love it as that costume thing. I quickly link my communicator and persona. Some personas are more suited to operational support than direct combat. In my case, though, that power is secondary. We normally have a persona user who specializes in that role, but with some specialized equipment, I can get by. I focus my consciousness and send it, drifting throughout the surrounding area. The enemy must think he's keeping an eye on us, but he'll learn soon enough that he's not the only one with a bird's eye view of the situation. But before the layout of this place becomes clear, an unexpected change occurs around me. Oh! This is interesting. Now you're saying it's a bad thing, this is a cool one. Yeah, somehow she rocks it. The moment I use my power, noise runs through the students that had been spectating. In an instant, they turn into something like silhouettes that barely have human shapes. It seems their true colors have been exposed. Are they not human?
What? Were they shadows? If they were, I don't sense any hostility from them. Were they just set dressing that thing in the costume prepared?
Yeah, they're just chilling. The shadows here are just vibing. Apparently, this disturbance isn't so serious that the large crowd that cheering implied was made up entirely of people who entered the TV, which leaves it a mystery, but it may be best to consider it a blessing.
In any case, it appears that apart from this girl here, none of those students were real.
The girl who had collapsed on the floor is coming around. I release my persona and rush over to help her up. I wasn't fighting to my fullest. Yeah, she can kick harder, so she shouldn't be suffering from any real wounds. There may be mystery surrounding this girl. She seems to be more than just an associate of the one in the bear costume. The moment the girl sees me, she jumps back like a startled animal. Oh, poor Yukiko. Her speech is flustered, and her face a bright blushing red. There are tears in her eyes.
How come you knew about that?
About what?
That was private. I never even told anyone at the inn about that.
And we'll never get the satisfaction of learning what each person said to everyone.
I can't
Or what
believe
they heard.
someone I've never even met before knew.
The girl covers her reddened face in shame. I try to think back to what I said to her. Did I point out anything that will cause such a reaction? One detail jumps out at me. When the girl's manner of speech shifted before a battle, it wasn't just her personality that abruptly changed. Though we had just met, she talked as if she knew more than she should about my past.
That reminds me. That noise I sensed earlier is gone.
Yet the girl before me now no longer bears any of the senseless animosity from before.
It seems to have been some kind of interference from the enemy. Come to think of it, that bear was egging us on. The interference must have been to ensure two total strangers would fight. General Teddy, was it? He looked comical enough, but he certainly put an elaborate scheme in motion.
No! How could Teddy?
She seems to have finally calmed down, and continues muttering with a perplexed expression.
You know the one in costume, I take it?
Oh, I know him very well. He's usually not like this at all.
I take the girl's hand and again help her to her feet.
I'm Mitsuru Kirijo. I've come here in search of a unique object. Why don't we start over? If you don't mind, I'd like to hear a little about yourself.
Yes. Oh, my name's Yukiko Amagi. I'm sorry for losing my composure just now.
So, Amagi, why did you come to this world?
Yo, I remember the show to say AK-47, dude. Because he romanced both of them, Mitsuru and Yukiko.
Where to start? So many strange things happened over the last year.
Like, you see this AK, you could be living right now. At first glance, it gets dark naturally, okay. At first glance, she looks like an ordinary student, so why is she here inside the TV? Amagi briefly summarized her recent past to me in an even tone of voice. According to her, this world was prominent in a serial murder case last year. She and her friends awakened to their personas while investigating the case, and eventually solved it. At the case's conclusion, this world formed by people's thoughts returned to its original state. None of this contradicts what I learned from Detective Kurosawa.
A realm inside a TV, formed by people's thoughts. It sounds absurd, but that would explain the incongruity I sensed when I used my persona.
We thought the case had been solved, but lately there's been another strange program on the air. My friends and I couldn't ignore that, so we came back here.
Your friends? Are there others here besides yourself?
Yes, I was with 3 other people, but we got separated when we entered. The one in costume and the girl who called herself Rosette are friends of ours too. But they're acting so strangely.
So this is not the way they generally behave then?
I can tell from Amagi's reactions that normally she trusts those two implicitly. Considering what the enemy did to her earlier, could they be under this control as well? Either way, it sheds no light on the theft of Labras. How are they related? Or is this incident only a coincidence?
There's one more thing I'm curious about. Have you ever heard the name Labras?
Labras? No, I don't think I've ever heard of that before. What is it?
It's the thing I'm searching for. What makes it problematic is that I know nothing of its appearance. Honestly, I'm not sure it has anything to do with this disturbance, though I can't write it off completely as irrelevant.
Though it appears that there is no connection, whoever went so far as to hijack a plane to steal Labras brought her all the way here. No matter how I look at it, that means something.
Anyway, thank you for your cooperation. I understand the situation better now. We should stay together going forward.
Oh, we ain't done yet. General Teddy suddenly appears on the screen to interrupt our conversation. Well, poop. How exactly can that rule be enforced? As if to answer my unspoken question, Amagi makes an odd gesture.
There's nothing here, but I can feel something. A wall, maybe? Wait, the Matsuru-san could...
Amagi looks at me expectantly. I take a tentative step and walk through the place where she claims there is a wall.
Like I said, you're stuck there until the tournament's over. Only winners get to go. Come on, miss. You won. So it's time to barrel forward to the next stage.
I must leave the girl alone in this strange world then. Though I'm uneasy about doing so. Amagi seems to read my thoughts and smiles.
Thank you, but I'll be alright. I fought shadows for an entire year too. I can protect myself.
It's true, she can. She's strong.
I see. In that case, I'll press on and do my best to rescue your friends.
If you see them, please tell them I'm alright and they shouldn't worry about me. You be careful too, Matsuru-san.
Amagi smiles resolutely. She's a very strong girl. That's what we're just saying. Yukiko's strong.
I'll pass that along.
I nod, acknowledging her wishes, and turn my back to walk away.
Not only do they tamper with our minds, they prevent us from leaving until the tournament is settled. It may not necessarily ruin friendships, but there's no way forward than to fight one another. What a loathsome trick. It seems the mastermind is intent on us fighting each other.
I grip my teeth in anger. Amagi's clear eyes remain in my heart. This operation is no longer just to retrieve Labrys. I make a silent vow as I go. Everyone who has been dragged into this must be rescued. We're just helping people. It's what we do.
Another dead end.
As I step into the school, I realize that these invisible walls are everywhere, blocking off routes that seem open to the naked eye. Why is the thief who stole Labrys gathering Persona users in this world? Not having a clear idea of their motivations is aggravating my anxiety. I didn't know she had that. I guess an Akihiko may have been dragged into this Grand Prix as well. If so, we need to compare notes. If all goes well, we may figure out the location of the mastermind behind this that I failed to grasp earlier. After quickly confirming that there are no shadows nearby, I link my communicator with my persona. I focus my consciousness and send it drifting throughout the surrounding area.
Hurts. So lonely.
Oh.
What was that?
The presence is faint, and I can't tell where it is, yet I can definitely hear a voice. It seems I can sense it because of my secondary support capabilities, but when I focus harder, it doesn't seem like they're trying to communicate with me. It's more like the words and the intense emotions behind them are seeping out of the room itself, perhaps even from all around me. Eventually, the voice becomes clearer.
I'm scared. I'm alone. It hurts. Why? Why won't anyone listen?
Poor girl.
I don't recognize the voice. Perhaps one of Amagi's friends.
I didn't ask to be born a machine. How come no one understands? What's the difference between normal people's hearts and mine?
A machine? Is that Labrys?
I stand up and try calling to her.
Labrys! Are you nearby? Answer me!
But there is no answer. It seems that it's not because the voice's owner is nearby that I can hear her. It is subtly different from hearing voices with one's own ears. It's true. I focus my senses once again, but I still can't tell exactly where it's coming from. Not yet having a thorough command of the layout here makes it harder to pinpoint. Eventually, the voice fades, only silence remains.
Going by what she said, that had to have been Labrys. Sounds as if her heart has developed further than we thought.
Even Aegis, the latest model, required a lot of time and experience to develop the heart she has. So then, why does Labrys, who's been sealed from her development up to now, have such an advanced heart?
I didn't ask to be born a machine. It pains me to hear that.
The anti-shadow suppression weapons. Both Igus and Labrys were created in insurance for dangerous shadow experimentations, in case the subject should go berserk. The only thing that can stand up against a shadow is a persona, and being able to control one is an absolute necessity when dealing with shadows. Thus, they were given hearts in order to be able to induce their ability to use personas. But a weapon that has a heart contradicts itself. It was natural for Igus to face that contradiction, and it caused her serious anguish in the past.
We can't allow victims like her to be tormented by sins of the past, whether they're human or not.
Newly resolved, I press on. She's like, I'm gonna save everyone in here. Goodness. I continue through the school, still unable to contact Igus or Akihiko. That's right, we only fought one person. So yeah, who's the next? Who is next? I must learn. Let me check something really quick. Hold on, can I check it? Okay, we're fine. Alright, we're good. The invisible wall seems to be leading me towards a gym. Compared to the one back at Gikogan High, this one is rather modest, but the chairs stacked to unusual heights and the monitors everywhere gave it an eerie air. The monitor is switching on again. But this time it's not showing General Teddy. How strange. This appears to be a commercial for a fighting event.
What in the...
A succession of young men and women are introduced as participants. One of them I recognize as Amagi.
They're wearing the same uniforms as Amagi. I assume these are the friends she spoke of.
All of them are introduced with horrible epithets, but the Amagi I met in person was a completely different, sophisticated girl. I suppose the enemy made up all the taglines. Very smart. Just as Amagi's introduction ends, the video suddenly turns off and General Teddy's face appears on screen. We don't get the satisfaction of seeing that
I had
either.
to completely rejigger the bracket to accommodate 3 new contestants. Jeez.
3 new contestants. Myself, Akihiko, and Igus?
On the other paw, a tournament's more exciting with more people in it. But getting back on track, allow me to introduce your next opponent.
Who we got? When I enter, someone who had already been there returns around. His face. It was on the video a moment ago.
Huh? There's people besides us here?
Okay.
You're...
Holy crap, she's smoking hot.
There it is.
And she's wearing doesn't hurt either.
You were in that video just now. What was it they called you? Captain Ressentiment?
How come you remember that stupid title and not my real name? Figures I need a knockout like this. She already knows about that. God, I wish I was dead.
Apparently, the epithets from the video hit a sore point with the people featured. The nickname left more of an impression than his real name, so it just slipped out. At that moment, General Teddy appears again on one of the larger monitors inside the gym.
How do you like your opponent?
Why are you making us fight? What benefit do you derive from this nonsense?
So many questions. I just want you all to suffer. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that fun?
That's what this is about? No. If Labrys is involved, there's more to it, isn't there?
Enough jibba jabba. Hurry and
Jibba
start the fight.
Jibba jabba.
Look at your opponent. He's ready, see?
The general smirk strikes me as incongruous. It's the same as that time with Amagi. As I glare at the monitor, thinking that more interference is at work here, I hear unexpectedly bitter words.
Yeah, Teddy's right. I mean, you're the one who barged in here. Man, who come to such a dangerous place without hesitating? You really are an ice queen. I bet you don't have many friends, huh?
Oh, dang. I haven't heard that in a minute. It's happening again. The moment that noise kicks in, not only does my opponent's personality change, they begin speaking of things they shouldn't know about. It's exactly like what happened with Amagi.
You talk as if you know me.
Stop acting so calm and changing the subject. You seem like you don't know much about this world. So how do you plan to get out? Don't tell me you rushed in here with no escape plan. Oh, man, seriously? You're nuts. People like you who obsess over responsibility and put all the burden on yourselves, you annoy the hell out of me.
It doesn't matter how others perceive you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Isn't that because you don't trust anyone?
I mean, understandable, people suck. We clearly can't have a normal conversation with the enemy's interference, but even knowing that, I catch myself trying to argue the point. The heavy responsibility I suffer is mine alone. If I share it with someone, that means that suffering will also be shared. That is why I try to be the self-sufficient. The more I care about someone, the less I'm willing to rely on them. But isn't that no better than not believing in them? I've been caught in that trap before. Maybe I still haven't truly escaped it. But how could he guess my private distress, one that I've barely confined to others before?
I was supposedly an unexpected intruder. What's going on?
What are you mumbling about? Well, let me ease your mind. I'll end everything for you. Let's do this, Jiraiya!
Yosuke-senpai! Beat up that shady lady! Let the fight begin!
I can see there'll be no talking sense with him like this. There's nothing for it then. Artemisia!
Alright, let's beat up Yosuke! Here we go.
Finals. Fight.
Kick him. He'd probably like that. Oh! Why don't my persona come out? Oh wait, I pressed the wrong button. You were just incredible. Dude, what can't she do? Oh, poop. Did you hear him? He straight said, "I submit to you, my beautiful queen." I love to hear all the different exchanges they have for. That's one thing I think that's cool. Where I think it's Blaze Blue that does that. To where usually they have like general phrases for like when they're fighting different people, but when they're fighting people that are like canonically friends or like siblings or something like that, when they start attacking, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry about this," like, "Oh, that was a good one," and stuff like that. It's this. I like it when games do that. It's nice. I remember that because one time in Yosuke's story, we beat up Chia. She's like, "I can't believe I lost to Yosuke." Okay.
Aw, you're so useless, Yosuke-senpai! Unfortunately, the party crasher wins.
The girl on the PA system is rather casual with her insults. Soon after, General Teddy appears on the monitor.
You're so strong, miss! I can barely believe how gorgeous and powerful you are!
It seems they're not provoking us only to have us fight one another. And their method. Is it more like an illusion they're casting over us, rather than some sort of mind control?
Still trying to figure everything out? Switch your brain off and enjoy the Grand Prix already!
Sorry, but I'm not some savage who enjoys the suffering of others. And don't call me Miss. My name is Mitsuru Kirito.
Miss Suru.
Kirito?
You've toyed with us, and I don't take that lightly. I'll make you pay for what you've done. You better be prepared for that.
Kirito!
The moment he hears my voice, the face on the bear costume distorts into a mask of hate.
You're the one who should be prepared! I'll never let you stop me!
The broadcast ends after he flings those words at me.
I mentioned my name on purpose. He reacted as strongly to the name Kirijo as I thought he would.
I still don't know anything for certain, but I'm increasingly sure that General Teddy is related to the circumstances surrounding Labrys.
At first, I thought I'd stumbled into an irrelevant side incident, but evidently not. We were meant to come here.
Just then, the young man behind me slowly gets to his feet.
Ow!
Ah, you're awake.
It seems now that the battle is settled, the interference causing us both to seem odd has vanished. Hanamura cringes away, frightened. I can't help but shrug.
My. Amagi reacted the same way. Were the things that the illusory me said that harsh?
Oh, you bet. Wait, what? Illusory? And did you just say Amagi? You meant Yukiko?
Yes, before I came here. I was forced to fight her, quite against my will.
I explained the situation to him. I also said that she shared information with me on last year's case. That should help prove I did encounter Amagi. Just on the off chance, I asked Hanamura about Labrys, but he seems not to even know the name. Once we finish speaking, he stands up and places his hands in the air as if touching something there.
Only the winner can move on, huh? I'm the only one who can feel this invisible wall thing, so I guess it's true.
I'm glad you understand. I was worried you'd doubt me since I'm a complete stranger.
Well, you didn't seem like someone who'd try and trick me. I mean, what's the point? I've lost now, so I can't go anywhere.
Indeed. You're very pragmatic.
The young man waves away my compliment.
Nah, after what I went through last year, I just got used to coming smack up against insane stuff in this world. And Yukiko, my friend you met, she believed in you. So I don't mind trusting you too.
Hey.
I see.
I can't help myself from smiling. Their bond seems to be real. The power of friendship. Aw, ye. I do somewhat envy that way they trust each other without a doubt. I bet that could never have happened unless they had overcome the same trials together.
I'd like your opinion on something. What do you think is the objective of this tournament? That General Teddy said it was all in fun, but I doubt it's anything so simple.
I've been wondering the same thing, but I don't know. But you know, it might not just be Teddy behind it. I met this weird girl earlier.
A weird girl?
She was about my age, and she said she was the student council president. It was like she had no idea that she was inside the TV world. That doesn't seem very likely, does it?
No, I doubt one could be unaware of such things. It's possible that she didn't come here of her own will.
This may be a school now, but it doesn't always look like this. When normal people who don't have personas come in here, the world changes to reflect what they're thinking of. It happened every time a victim was dumped into a TV last year. Maybe this time she's the victim. Even if she means well, she still could have a lot to do with the tournament.
Girl.
Judging from the state of affairs, I'm beginning to think that the girl in question is Labrys. Since Hanamura doesn't know the details of my mission, it wouldn't occur to him that what I'm searching for is a humanoid weapon with a heart.
What did this girl look like? Did anything about her stand out?
Well, no, not really. She wore the same uniform as the rest of us.
A uniform?
Considering how Aigis looks, it's possible that Labrys' appearance is quite close to human. But what does it mean that she's completely able to pass as a human? Even Aigis, who wears clothes to cover her entire body in order for her to walk around town. Yet Labrys even wears the same uniform as them. Chalk up another unsolved mystery, I suppose. Hey! But after talking with Hanamura, it does feel like I'm starting to understand the bigger picture here. Yeah, that's good. It's going to help out a lot.
Thank you. I'm getting a clearer picture of what's going on. I'm sorry, but I can't stay and chat. I should be leaving now.
Oh, wait a second. Can I ask you a favor? Can you look after my other friends too? It sucks, but I can't get to them from here. That Teddy's really not a bad guy either. Sure, he eats my ice cream without asking and stuff, but he's not the type of guy who'd get off on watching people hurt each other. There's gotta be some other explanation.
Don't worry. I was already thinking along similar lines. What we saw was an illusion. It may be that they're faced with the same situation. I'll save everyone who's been dragged into this, including your friends, and this student council president.
Thanks. Just hurry before someone else dies in here.
Hanamura's expressions, which had previously been bright, albeit desperate, dark as noticeably. Yeah. Yeah. From all I've heard, last year's Shadow incident revolved around serial murders. It may be that he lost someone as well. To fight desperately, but lacking the power to make a difference, and being forcibly parted from loved ones. I understand that pain all too well. Yeah. Yeah.
That must sound pretty lame, losing the fight and then making a lot of demands.
Not so. Your concern for your friends in a situation like this. C'est magnifique.
What?
I sensed it when speaking to Amagi too, but you all seem to have very strong wills. I promise to do what I can to help.
The emotions he seems to view as a weakness are actually a strength. I'm sure that with a little more experience, he'll come to realize that. He'll see how difficult it is to hold on to that will, and how valuable it is to have friends he can share it with. Since I'm the one who'll be moving on, I'm responsible for the duties he entrusted to me. As if sensing my determination, Hanamura's expression turns serious, and he nods. I like these little exchanges that... Yeah, I like watching the P3 and P4 interact. It's fun. We did it already. After part, I love it. It's Persona 3 music. After parting with Hanamura, I once again proceed through the school. And the invisible walls continue to bar my path. Undoubtedly, the enemy is leading me exactly where he wants me.
Is there no end to this?
The rules of the P1 Grand Prix are powerfully enforced. I try to see if I could destroy one of these walls, but it doesn't seem as though I can. Maybe if I use all my strength, but in that case, I'd be at a disadvantage in my next fight. Either way, it didn't seem worth the trouble. I stray from the suggested route on purpose and open one of the classroom doors. I sense no enemies here, and it doesn't look like that I'll run into my next opponent here either. It should be safe here. Once again, I link my communicator with my persona. This time, unlike before, my senses cleanly and smoothly spread outward. I sense two familiar reactions.
Akihiko and Igus. They both seem to be okay.
First, I focus my senses to contact with Igus, who's closer by.
Can you hear me, Igus?
Mitsuru-san, I am relieved to finally hear from you. Is Akihiko-san with you?
Actually, this is a little different, so yeah.
No, we were separated, but I've confirmed his safety. I'm sure he won't be defeated that easily.
Oh, have you seen that dude? Igus laughs upon hearing my words.
Let's exchange information while we can.
Igus laughing. It gives life. I give her a simple outline of the current situation. I mentioned the students that were drawn here. My suspicion is that this Grand Prix mastermind is almost certainly related to Lapras. And what I've heard of a girl whom I'm assuming to be Lapras.
I saw that girl a moment ago, though I lost sight of her when the invisible walls blocked my path.
Well, dang.
I've been told she looks more human than you. Is that possible?
Not only that, she was almost indistinguishable from a normal person. I couldn't believe it either.
Right now, what I'm thinking is that what probably happened is that they try to make them more human, but then we're starting with Lapras and everything. But then once they saw they giving them a heart and making them look all human and stuff, that things started happening that they did not like. The creators didn't like her wanting to be more human, and they were like, "Oh no, bump that." So I guess when they made, and that's why they locked her up. And when they made Igus, they tried to make her look less human, which is why she doesn't have feet and stuff like that. In hopes of the same thing not happening again. But then Igus met C's, and all their efforts were for nothing. That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Just spitballing.
Yet I definitely sensed a personality module. I don't believe there's any mistake that she is Lapras.
I see.
There's no doubt that General Teddy has strong ties to Lapras and the Kirijo group. But the girl whom we believe to be Labrys is apparently walking around unconstrained. If he could set up this many walls, it should be easy for him to capture her too.
Don't worry about meeting up for now. Under the present conditions, we'd only end up fighting amongst ourselves.
See, that was smart.
Understood.
I don't know how Labrys ties into this situation yet, but be careful. Hello? I lost her.
Dang. Agas's voice trails off as my concentration to her dies out again. I wonder if the enemy noticed our conversation and took preventative measures. Though the voice I'm hearing now definitely isn't General Teddy's.
Ain't there? Some other way. If there was, then...
That's the same voice from before.
It's Persona music. They played a lot during Social Links, man. That's the same voice. Oh, because she said this.
Labrys,
Me.
is that you?
It's happening again. The voice reaches me through my Persona ability, but I have the strangest sensation about it. I get the impression that the voice is seeping out of this place itself.
Why are you laughing? What about this is funny?
Who is she addressing?
I don't want to fight him anymore.
That reminds me. Hanamura said that the environments here are formed by the thoughts of those who enter this world. Could these be Labrys' innermost thoughts? Is that why everything about this place radiates her feelings?
What do you think we are?
Ooh. For a moment, I experienced not just a voice, but a powerful wave of emotions. They bombarded me through my Persona's senses. A strong sadness, confusion, despair. I can't help but fall to my knees, though nothing is assaulting me directly. How can I describe this weight? One possible explanation crosses my mind.
She's not addressing anyone. These are her memories. I see. So that's what's going on.
I think back to what General Teddy said, that making people suffer is fun. I dismissed it as a barbaric desire, not worth thinking about too deeply. But in truth, what kind of horrors would someone have to go through to emerge with such a stunted perspective?
I'm finally beginning to see the relationship between this tournament and Labrys.
In any case, I must proceed on to learn anything. I redouble my resolve and begin walking again. She actually made it into a classroom and was able to get out without fighting. Oh, just kidding! I don't think so. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. I spoke too soon. The monitor suddenly turns on, showing a smirking General Teddy.
What are you getting so sentimental for? The Grand Prix not over yet!
Then you intend to continue this meaningless farce.
I'll decide what's meaningless or not! Bring out the next challenger!
Let's see who we're fighting. As soon as the general shouts, smoke gushes out, obstructing my view. It seems he isn't willing to listen to reason at all. Not that I expected otherwise. A little better, I think. Who will I be forced to fight this time? Is it Chie or you? Or is it Naoto? I strain my eyes to see through the smoke. It looks like it's... Yes! Okay, alright. Yo, Shadow Yukiko, what's going on? It's good to see you, how are you? We're playing Misuru's story. I remember that face. Naoto Shirogane. He was present as a police observer when Labrys was being transported to Yakushima. It was thanks to his quick thinking that we discovered Labrys had been taken to Inaba. If our trip hadn't been disrupted by the hijacking, he might still be with us in Yakushima. But why is he here?
This is a problem. I didn't think we'd run into each other so soon. Is this another illusion? No. I can see that it isn't. Why are you here? I'll answer that question later. It would be best to say as little as possible for now.
With that, the young man lifts his fingers to his lips in a gesture to remain silent. Directly afterwards, that staticky sensation runs through my body. It's then that I understand what he meant. Once again, this noise will prevent us from understanding each other properly. He probably also knows notice the effect at work. Nothing we say right now could be called conversing. If we both understand that, neither of us need to take what the other says personally. That's why he called for temporary silence. It's an amazing assessment, given the brief time in which he had to make it. Before long, I expected the young man before me undergoes a complete attitude reversal. Or as expected, a young man before me. Okay.
Seriously, such impatience handling the grunt work yourself like this. Isn't micromanaging like this the style of an incompetent leader? One who can't see the bigger picture?
This isn't how he truly feels. I say nothing.
The silent treatment, huh? That's fine. I understand perfectly. You don't believe in people. Not a single one. You have friends and allies, but believing in them is a different thing. I suspect you'll never break down that wall. Shall I say it for you? You're actually scared to. The notion of growing attached to something and losing it scares you so much that you'll share nothing truly important to you. Even if you want to believe in your friends, you can't. That's not true.
After the words slipped from my mouth, I realized that the argument is futile.
Of course it is. Why not simply admit it? In truth, you have your hands full just expiating your family's sins. You don't need the added burden of others placing their lives in your hands. Isn't that how you really feel? No.
Okay. The young man smirks as if ridiculing my inability to stop myself from responding to his allegations, despite knowing the futility of doing so. But the smirk only helps me to regain my composure. The real Shinigami would never make that face. Excuse me, how would you know? You've only been with him for like less than half a day. This is only an illusion.
There's no use continuing this. Not until I eliminate this irritating mirage.
Let's go! Oh, whoa, whoa. I almost messed that up. Okay. Back out. We're good. Okay, what music we got? Okay, like look at how much health is already down. Like my good god, this suit was so good.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, that was quick. Yes. Yeah, Mitsuru is really good. It seems like that. It seems to be the case. I turn towards the monitor on the assumption that General Teddy will appear to mock us. But for some reason, this time he doesn't. I'm not sure why, but it at least allows us time to calmly talk things over. I look towards the young man once again.
Am I getting through to you now? Yes. The same goes for me, I presume. It seems we were spellbound until the fight began, as we both suspected. They disrupted our communications to drive a wedge between us and make us fight. Though it's a mystery to me as to where it draws such personal slights for the illusions before us. I agree.
He seems to bear no animosity and is willing to discuss things, but to be honest, I'm not sure where we stand. Why is he here? I could think of several possible explanations, but if he secretly followed us in, his canniness may prove dangerous. He gives a sudden wry smile, as if sensing my reluctance and trying to assuage, I don't know.
There's
Sausage!
no need to be cagey. I don't intend to dodge whatever questions you have. You were probably wondering 3 things when you saw me here. First, how did I enter this world? Second, what am I doing in Inaba? And third, if I came here looking for you, what are my true intentions? No wonder you've made a name for yourself as a detective. You're correct on all counts. The first answer is easy. You know now that I can use a persona, allowing me access to the TV world.
As for the second, there's no great mystery why I would come to Inaba. I live here.
You wouldn't happen to be acquainted with Amagi and Hanamura?
You've met my senpai?
Your friends. I gather that you're comrades who fought alongside each other during the serial murder case last year. I assume you entered the TV together for the same reason they did, and found yourself dragged into this mess as well.
Whatever doubts I may have about them, it seems they're here because we dragged them into this. I'm not very comfortable with that.
So, I must apologize to you. No doubt you already know, but the object we seek has been brought to this world. It's most likely the cause of this disturbance. Whoever learned of this world's existence must have thought it would be useful in whatever they're scheming.
You apologizing to me?
Shirogane shrugs with a wry smile.
Are you so sure you can trust me? You have no guarantee that I'm telling the truth. And there's still the answer to your third question to consider. I haven't yet told you my true motives.
Fair enough. But if you're friends with Amagi and Hanamura, I feel I can trust you. Their bonds with their friends are real.
Perhaps I lied about that too.
But then why would you bring it up? No, you're no villain. That's what my intuition tells me.
You aren't at all the person I thought you'd be.
I'll take that as a compliment.
His smile suggests that it was meant as one. It makes him look his age, or even younger. I can't help but smile myself at the idea that he's not exactly the hardened detective I'd imagine him to be.
The Teddy who appeared on that monitor is not our friend. He's an imposter.
You have proof of this?
I found the real Teddy. Our enemy can fog both our eyes and ears. It's possible they can make themselves look like someone else.
I see.
But I still don't know why they chose to take on Teddy's appearance.
Upon hearing this, I sigh and close my eyes.
It might be to make you all suffer. If they led you to believe your friend betrayed you, it would make this all the more painful.
There's some truth to that, but it seems too simple a motive to warrant this elaborate of a disturbance.
He's wrong. If the motive is somehow connected to Labrys's memories, what had been incomprehensible becomes completely understandable. My conclusion must have shown through on my face, since Shirogane trails off in understanding. At that moment came something like a touch. It's a sensation I hadn't felt since entering this world, but I know this feeling. It's the effect of being brushed by a persona's informational support powers.
This feeling. Rise-san! Rise-san, can you hear me?
Naoto-kun? So you ended up here too!
The voice that echoes is much like the voice I heard over the PA system, but it seems quite different. The announcements must have been part of the culprit's tricks. This Rise's voice immediately turns quavery.
I'm so glad. Ever since this weird fake Teddy kidnapped me, I've been all alone. The others are fighting each other too.
It's all right. Just calm down and tell me where you are.
I think it's the announcement room. It's kind of off though. There are these invisible walls around and I can't get out. The fake Teddy was watching me until a moment ago, so I couldn't use my persona.
She seems to have been under the General's close watch, limiting her chances to use her persona until now. As soon as the General stepped out for a moment, she seized the opportunity to contact Shirogane.
You're in the announcement room now, yes? I'm headed straight there, so stay put.
Huh? Who's that? Why can I hear your voice but not sense you?
She sounds extremely confused. I had temporarily forgotten that my equipment prevents me from being detected by persona abilities to an extent. I prepared it after facing an enemy with similar powers once before. Oh yeah. It works by making my presence difficult to detect unless they know me well and recognize my signature. Shirogane senses her confusion as well and introduces me to her. His introduction is accurate, yet concise. I can see he's a first-rate detective.
Mitsuru Kirijo. Wait, Kirijo? Are you that Kirijo?
Yes, that's correct.
The CEO?
Not quite. I am the founding family's...
You hired me for a commercial before. Oh, crud. Thank you very much for your patronage.
Small world.
A commercial?
Oh, yes. I'm Rise Kuchikawa. I'm a classmate of the others you met, but also kind of a starlet, and it's hard to explain.
Rise-san, that can wait. There's no knowing when our adversary will return.
Oh, all right.
Fujikawa said that she was captured, but why would they treat her differently?
I suspect it was to block communication. If we could speak freely as we just did, their whole scheme would collapse. Ah, so that's why Teddy and Rise-san were the hosts.
What do you mean?
The real Teddy has a similar power. That's why those two were taken separately. Not only that, but by acting as the two who had disappeared, the enemy thought it could portray them as traitors. Though it appears that Teddy managed to escape on his own somehow.
The stupidest. He just made himself skinny. That's it.
How come I'm the only one fake Teddy is watching over personally? Sheesh.
Because you're the better communicator.
You have the most powerful investigative persona.
See?
They must have had to take greater pains with you.
See?
I think we're keeping this going too long. We've exchanged what we know already, so I'm gonna shut down the comms link. Be careful, you guys.
I face Shader Guy once again.
We are responsible for this case. Rescuing the ones who've been dragged into it is part of our mission. Besides, she's another of your friends, isn't she? All the more reason for me to go save her.
He makes a small gesture as if searching for the right words. After taking some time to make up his mind, he looks me in the eye once more.
You're quite prepared for this. It would be unfair of me not to tell you everything. Please hear me out. The reason I came here was to...
Oh, great. Something's gonna happen.
You're a real straight arrow.
Oh. I saw the line. I was like, that's never good. I cut him off intentionally.
You're very proud to be a detective, no? I can see it in your eyes. You would never sell out your beloved justice. If you've done nothing to be ashamed of, that makes us even. I haven't been entirely forthright with you either.
Kirijo-san. It seems I still have much to learn.
Despite what I said, I can make an educated guess as to his motives. He's a persona user. That means the police selected as their observer. Is someone with the potential. If his only task was to watch over the transfer, there'd be no need to send a persona user. Leading me to believe that he's been asked to secretly spy on me or my organization. But we have nothing to hide anymore. There are many things that shouldn't be made public, but I'm sure his judgment is sound.
Well then, I will once again entrust my friend's safety and the resolution of this case to you. In honor of the bond we are forming, Mitsuru Kirijo.
I promise that I will not let you down.
I smile back at him and move on without looking back. I know that there is someone up ahead I must atone for. There is no hesitation in my steps. Alright, cool. I reached the 3rd floor, so this should be the last bit of it, yeah? Probably. After turning the corner and going on for a while, it finally comes into view. The announcement room. Yep. If anything, we might have to fight one more person, but I don't even know if that's going to happen. This is where Fujikawa is supposed to be.
Are you Kirijo-san? Kirijo?
As I open the door, 2 students greet me. One of them is the voice I heard through my persona, Fujikawa, I presume. The other is a girl I didn't see on the video.
Hang tight, Miss President. We'll be okay now that help's arrived.
Uh-oh.
Kirijo-san, this girl got dragged into this mess too. We have to help her before that general comes back.
So you're Fujikawa. Sorry, but I'll need you to step back.
Huh?
I turn to face Miss President.
We meet at last. Astounding. You really do look human. But you're not, are you, Labrys?
The girl jumps at hearing this. Fujikawa still looks unsure, but I can't drag her into this. I place myself between her and Labrys.
Huh? What do you mean she's not human? Isn't she a victim who got dropped inside the TV?
Labrys being a victim is one way to see it. But if what I've learned thus far is accurate, then the one who set up this Grand Prix is most likely.
Labrys, our records show that you were loaded with special equipment.
That's right. She doesn't know about just regular people having shadows too. Oh. Okay.
Undoubtedly a function that affects thoughts and scrambles recognition. That's why we saw and heard illusions whenever we fought.
Yeah, she has no reason to know that because that wasn't a thing in 3.
It would also explain General Teddy's appearance, and those who met you believing you to be human.
Special equipment? Lapras? What are you talking about?
Labrys, proselytations of ignorance sounds as if she's in denial about something she already knows. It's tragic. Hearing the desperation in her voice.
I'm sure the reason why you captured 2 people with analytical personas wasn't just to keep them from interfering with your designs. I came to a realization when I noticed I was the only one who sensed that noise. An analytical persona's searches clash with your ability. They dispel illusions, so you needed to confine them. You feared that if they caught you off guard and used their persona's ability, this would happen.
With that, I summon my persona, or Artemisia. Just as I expected, noise immediately runs across Labrys' body. It's exactly the sensation I felt before each round in the tournament. Artemisia cancels out the force scrambling, our senses, and the illusion begins to wear off. Little by little, the facade fades away, and her true appearance emerges.
No! What's going on? This can't be.
What was your motive, Labrys? Was it revenge in the end? I can understand why you'd hold a grudge.
I forgot this how she.
Glimpses of it on their way here.
I already forgot this how she actually looks. I completely forgot about that.
But your hatred should be centered on the Kirijo group. Why drag innocent students into your vendetta?
Kirijo group? No. I don't want to remember. Never again. Miss President, Kirijo-san, she seems to be in a lot of pain. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but you can't push her any further.
At that moment, Labrys grabs the equipment on her back and that I had mistaken for wings. It suddenly separates and transforms into a giant battle axe that's larger than she is.
Miss President?
Get back! Hurry!
Labrys approaches one step at a time, and her axe at the ready. Her steps are halting, but she's moving with battle clearly in mind.
The injunction against harming humans has been removed? I see. No wonder she was sealed away.
Behind me, I hear Kuchikawa pleading.
Is there no other choice but to fight?
I won't let you do any more damage, Labrys. It's me you want.
Shut up! Shut up! I didn't like that!
Okay. Okay, I guess we're fighting. Who all fall Labrys? Because Kanji fall Labrys in the silly end, of all things. And Misuru. Cool. Let's do the thing.
Final.
The music. Yasagami Steel Council President. What you doing? Kick him. Hit him with that bow. That super kick. The Kirijo kick. Come on. All right. Labrys remains still. I can hear her mutter denials. She didn't use a persona, but it's possible that her mental instability prevented her from doing so. It might have been a blessing in disguise.
I don't intend to turn a blind eye to the sins committed against you. That is why I must bring you back.
Labrys is the mastermind, not only of this tournament, but maybe of the entire incident from the beginning. What if Labrys was never stolen, but instead escaped? Considering her powers, is it possible that she deluded the ordinary human hijackers? There's no knowing when Labrys regained her consciousness inside her cage. What if she had an awakening on opening it? What if she was already conscious inside there? I just realized the music too. The music. She had been sealed away for roughly 13 years. More than enough time to formulate a plan.
If that was indeed the case, it'd make more sense for this to be a plan devised by Labrys, rather than an unknown party suddenly stealing her away. I can't imagine how much resentment such a small, artificial body could hold. A tragic mastermind, huh?
Huh? Mastermind? You got it wrong, Kamicho-san! That girl's not...
Kujikawa calls out from behind me. Just as she does so, I feel an imminent threat rushing towards my back. Ooh.
What?
I turn around in surprise. It can't be. Oh.
Looks like
Okay.
you saved me some time while I was out running errands.
Man, I thought something was gonna attack her.
You're...
General Teddy gives an evil smirk. An extremely powerful version of the noise, far worse than before, is everywhere around us. Kujikawa squats down while covering both her ears. It's all I can do to keep from falling to my own knees.
What's going on? This is Labrys' interference pattern.
Mm-hmm. That's right. As thanks for cornering the real one, I'll show you something.
We're gonna see the transformation thing? Yep. Oof. How many? We're not gonna fight her again, are we? Shadow Labrys this time. Maybe, maybe not. It's kind of hard to. It's really kind of hard to say with these different characters. It might be to be continued. I don't know. Yeah. They also might have her fight her one more time. Noise lifts once the mimicry is dispelled. But what it reveals is something I hadn't expected.
Another Labrys?
Ooh, this shot. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's it. That was it. Okay. That's done. Okay, there's Labrys. Cool, cool, cool. Labrys story is now available. Sweet. All right. All right. Then who is this? Okay, then we're gonna see. I thought Labrys would have been the last one. All right, so we still have Akihiko and Aigis, and then we got these. Okay, okay, okay. I see it. I see it. Ugh, 49% complete. So I'm just a little under halfway, but I've already done most. What else can we do? I don't know. I don't know. Oh well. Anyway, let me get out of here. So that was cool. That was swell. Yeah. I guess that's it. That was wild. We're done here. That's all we're gonna do tonight. Because yeah, we definitely don't have time. That one felt longer. That story felt just slightly longer than the other stories, which I mean is fine. It's kind of what I expected. But yeah. So I guess we can go ahead and end the stream. Well, let me check. Let me see what's going on. Is there anyone? Yeah, she's the only one that's live right now. Yeah, we'll raid Ariel Nigo again. She's playing more Persona. She's playing Persona 4 Golden. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But this has been fun. this has been really fun. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to do Akihiko's story. Yeah. I think I might like his playstyle, but we'll see. I really like Chie's playstyle. Everyone has some pretty fun playstyles, though, in all honesty. But let me see. Let me set this up really quick. There we go. Alright, but yeah, I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me while we went through Misuru's story. It was pretty awesome. But, yeah, that was really all there is to it. So, we will be back tomorrow with... Yeah, we're going to be back tomorrow with the Akihiko story. Oh, crap. You know what? I don't know how we're going to do because that's going to be Saturday. Okay, we'll see how it goes. We might try to get 2 stories done. Maybe not, but we'll see. Either way, we have the opportunity to stream a little bit later tomorrow because that will be Saturday. Either way, we will be back tomorrow with more Persona 4 Arena. Doing Akihiko's story. So tell your friends, tell your family. We can all hang out and have a great time together. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to raid Ariel really quick. Give her a what up. Well, she's playing Persona 4 Royal. I did tell her I was come stop by and say hi when I was finished if she's still alive. So that's all there is to it. So don't forget to eat and thanks for watching. Later.